They told me the hotel had never opened. No guests, no weddings, no tired families arguing over suitcases. Just 5 years of construction, then a funding winter that froze everything in place. Yet as the elevator doors sighed open onto floor 7, I felt the bruised quiet of a place that had hosted arguments, apologies, and secret midnights. Carpets muted my footsteps like thick dust. The air smelled faintly of coolant and old perfume, as if the ventilation remembered someone that the walls had forgotten. The clipboard in my hand listed ordinary instructions: check cameras, log temperatures, confirm doors, night caretaker, interim position, hazard pay generous enough to make me ignore the non-disclosure clauses that sprawled like barbed wire across the contract. They called the project a behavioral hospitality study. The building had been wired for observation: lenses and smoke detectors, microphones behind framed photographs, motion sensors nested like spiders in the corners. My supervisor, Mercer, had smiled without warmth when he handed over the master key card. "If you hear someone," he said, "don't engage. Just check the monitors." Control was on floor 3, a windowless corridor that hummed like the inside of a refrigerator. The monitoring room door required both my card and a numeric code. The lock clicked with an oddly organic sound, as if cartilage were being persuaded rather than metal. Inside, the darkness was thin, restless. Racks of idle servers blinked low red, their cooling fans exhaling a tired mechanical breath. In the center of the room, a horseshoe of monitors framed a single worn chair, as though someone had been sitting here long enough to deform the air. The screens were partitioned into grids, each square labeled 702, 715, 801A. Rooms that technically had never been occupied. Yet some feeds showed beds unmade in subtle human ways: an asymmetric hollow, a turned-down corner, a robe crumpled near the bathroom. Others showed televisions left on blue input screens, their dim halos staining the walls. In 726, the curtains shivered through the thermostat read a steady 72. I cycled the archived footage. Nothing at first. Empty hallways, static blank TVs, a parade of stillness. Then, at 3:17 on an older recording, room 714 changed. The feed for 714 had no timestamp, only the raw camera tag, as if it resisted being anchored in time. At first, the room was as expected: hotel generic, aggressively forgettable. Gray headboard, beige comforter, mass-produced art showing a coastline that might not exist. Then the loop stuttered, and something rewound without the interface moving. The comforter smoothed itself. A suitcase eased upright at the foot of the bed, its handle juddering as though pulled by an invisible, clumsy hand. A woman stepped into frame, but her edges blurred like a compressed video pausing mid-buffer. Instead of a face, she had a shifting mask of other rooms, rows of empty chairs, a stairwell, an elevator mirror reflecting no one. Every time the pixels tried to settle into features, the image shivered into fresh architecture. Her posture, though, carried an acute, ordinary exhaustion, the way her shoulders dipped when she sat on the bed and pressed her palms into her eyes. She looked directly into the camera, or the idea of a camera, and the feed dropped into grayscale. Mercer's office door on floor 2 was ajar, a printout of legalese keeping it from closing. His nameplate had been removed, leaving a faint rectangle on the wood, as if identities were peelable stickers here. Inside, the walls were mapped with floor plans, each level of the hotel traced in careful ink and overlain with translucent sheets showing sensor coverage. Every room carried multiple circles annotated with times, initials, and short, frantic arrows that always pointed inward. On his desk, a single file was left open: Project NightScope, Subject Summary. The pages listed synthetic occupancy simulations, pattern entanglement, and a phrase written repeatedly in the margins: rooms that remember. The subjects weren't people, but scenarios: the argument that never concluded, the phone call never answered, the apology drafted but unsent. Entire stays modeled, personalities grown from behavioral data sets, then projected into empty architecture through surveillance loops and environmental cues. Memory without a body, history without an event. A security still was clipped to the back: me entering the hotel lobby tonight. The timestamp was 4 years ago. Mercer had written beneath it in tight blue ink, Subject 714 arrival, final iteration.